But here's another thing that's very, very, very important. Your wig has a finite lifespan. And this is super, super, super important. I have people who send me emails all the time saying, oh, this Noriko wig only lasted me 3 months. I don't know what I did wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. You did great, because those wigs, you know, I have people that get a new one every month and re-up once a month. And that's normal. It's not unheard of. And when I use the word continuous wear, everyday wear, I basically mean that you're wearing them 9 to 5, at least 5 days a week. You know, so you're wearing them kind of like a full-time job. So it's your job wig. And with that kind of wear, and maybe weekly or bi-weekly washings, you can expect to get anywhere from 1 to 3 months out of most synthetic wigs. Slightly longer wigs tend to wear out faster. Short wigs like this one tend to wear out much more slowly. And I anticipate to get about 3 to 6 months of full-time wear out of this particular wig. The reasons why is because, one, it's curly, so I don't need to brush it. Brushing it increases friction, which diminishes the lifespan of your wig. So straight wigs tend to wear faster than curly ones. Unless you brush your curly ones, and then all bets are off. Long wigs wear faster than short ones because long hair rubs up against your shoulders, it rubs up against your shirt, it rubs up against your coat, it rubs up against your scarves, it rubs up against the back of your car seat, and your seatbelt gets caught in it, and it can get caught indoors depending on how long it is. And you know, so I mean, that long hair is constantly rubbing up against stuff. And the real killer of synthetic hair is static and friction. And those two things build up faster in a long wig because you're brushing them more frequently and because they're rubbing up against more stuff. So bear that in mind, that with most really long wigs, you can expect to get 1 to 3 months out of them, sometimes longer depending on, you know, if you wear it pulled back or in updos or things like that on off days maybe, to try to keep the friction down. Treating it with fabric softener will help with the friction as well. There are little tricks here and there that you can do, but just know, realistically, synthetic wigs will only get you tops 6 months of everyday wear. And that to me is like the maximum. Now, there are outliers. There are people who can get more out of certain wigs than others. But I want my customers to have very realistic expectations. I'm not going to sell you fairy dust and, you know, blow smoke up your skirt. I definitely want you to know what you're getting yourself into. I love synthetic wigs. I love being able to switch them out and switch up the color and switch up the style. If I want to be a redhead for a month, I go for it. That's the beauty of synthetic wigs. They're pret-a-porter for the most part. They're ready to wear. You just shake them off out of the box and plop them on your head, and normally they're good to go. Sometimes they might need a little bit of settling in order to look natural. I know this one was very poofy when I first got it, and then after about a week of wear, it settled and now it looks way more natural. But I definitely know that you just need to align your expectations with reality, or else you're going to find wig wear an extremely unsatisfactory experience. So let's see. Only buy human hair that is Remy quality or better. Sometimes you can find, I mean, by better, I mean there are European quality hair wigs that you can get that are really, really nice. But they're very, 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 very expensive. If you thought $1,200 was a lot for a wig, wait until you get into some of those European hair wigs. I don't carry any of them right now because, I mean, that's really the sort of thing you should go to a specialty physical boutique and try on before you buy, just because they are so expensive and usually they're all sales final. And so, yeah, definitely go to a brick and mortar if you're thinking about getting something that incredibly high-end, because you're talking about a $5,000 wig in a lot of those cases. So, yeah, I don't carry anything quite that pricey on my site. I love lace fronts. I love them. They look really, really natural, and they just really amplify a wig. This wig would look totally killer with a lace front, but I think it looks fine without. Lace fronts can be uncomfortable, especially if you're not used to wearing a wig. If you are truly a first-time wig wearer, the kind of wig I recommend you try out is open, or it's also called capless construction, without a lace front. And I think that you should just increase the addition of monofilament as you get more comfortable and more acclimated to wig wear in general. Because wigs, when you first start wearing them, are going to feel weird. You're going to feel weird. I can guarantee you're going to feel weird about it. And it's best for me to just be straight with you right now, because it's virtually impossible to go from no hair on the top of your head or very little hair on the top of your head to a full head of hair without one of two things happening, or both. First of all, it's going to feel weird because that weight is going to be back on your head and you're not going to be used to it. So it's going to feel hot. It's going to feel heavy. A really good quality wig, though, will minimize both of those things. But compared to no hair at all, it's going to feel much, much heavier. And the second thing is that sensation of the weight may trigger you to go through a second mourning period over the loss of your hair. And that is okay. It's completely okay, and it's completely normal. It's completely normal. And the reason why it happens is because, you know, you might be cool with it. You might come to terms with the fact that you're losing your hair to the extent that you go out and buy a wig. And you're cool with it in theory. But emotions and rationality don't mix sometimes. Sometimes you could know something and not be able to rationalize your way out of the emotion. And the emotion is that when you put the wig on your head and you feel that change in weight, even if it's really minor, even if you get an ultra lightweight wig, it's still going to feel different than having nothing on your head at all. And when you get that sensation, it's going to feel weird. And it's gonna make you sad sometimes, for some people. It doesn't always work like this with everybody, but please keep in mind that it does happen for some people. That it's sad sometimes for some people to put the wig on their head and to feel that heat of the hair and the weight of the hair, and to realize that that's what they lost. That's really hard for some people. And that is so okay. It's so okay to feel that way. Seriously, my heart feels for you to the point where, like, I'm gonna cry. Like, you know, I went through that too. I had that experience where the first time I put a wig on, I resented the fact that I had to wear one at all. And I was kind of resistant to wearing them. And, you know, you can't compare the sensation of wearing a wig to the sensation of your own hair. Because if you have to just find a way to try to embrace it if this is the route that you choose to pursue. Because otherwise you're always going to be kind of resistant to it. Excuse me. So I think that those are some important things to keep in mind. I think that you should try short styles first as opposed to long ones. I definitely think you should try regular synthetic monocrylic fiber, Kanekalon monocrylic, as opposed to a heat defiant fiber, because heat defiants are way harder to take care of, as I've indicated earlier. And don't get a wig with bangs unless you wear bangs. If you grew up your whole childhood wearing bangs and you wore bangs up until they fell out or whatever, go ahead, get the bangs, because you'll feel more comfortable with them. But don't just get bangs because you think it's going to obscure your hairline, because you'll never be comfortable with the wig that way. You know, and I learned that myself the hard way too, because I liked the way wigs looked with bangs, but I've never worn bangs in my life. And so every time I get a wig with bangs, I'm like, ugh, and then I sweep them off to the side and it looks wiggy. So don't get bangs just because you're self-conscious. Get them if you look good with bangs. And you're used to bangs, or else it'll just make the wig that much more uncomfortable.